Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad you are here. This video is going to be a little bit haphazard because I have been filming daily but not as organized as I would like, mostly because I've been trying to prep for a craft fair, and now I may not be doing that craft fair because I've just been running into a lot of issues. Anyway, that's a whole thing that this video is not about. So anyway, all of those issues aside, I've been having a lot of fun working on some fall themed crafts, specifically block printing, which I did a little bit of that back in college, but we were actually cutting wooden blocks, which was kind of unsafe, and I injured myself as well as many of my classmates. They hurt themselves cutting these wooden blocks. But this time around I used laminate, and I want to share with you guys a little bit of how I did this design and the end results of how it all worked out and the projects that I will be making from this. So my original intention for this block was to print t-shirts. I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong. I don't know if maybe it's the design. It just maybe has a little too much detail, but it does not transfer very well onto fabric. And of course, the original idea was that I would print on t-shirts. So I was a little disappointed, but it prints really well on paper. So I'm gonna do some paper prints. I am also going to probably frame some of those. And I got transfer paper to try with my inkjet printer so I can transfer the design onto the t-shirts with that. Some of this footage will be a little bit out of order because the process for this block I started. The crows, there are many outside. Support your local murder. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into this fun fall-themed crafts video. I used Adobe Illustrator to create my design. Creating this from scratch was time-consuming because the illustration side of this kind of project is just really involved. I had an idea in my mind of how I wanted this to look, so my first step was to find a picture of a crow that I really liked and trace it. I don't freehand things too well in the computer, but I am pretty good at tracing. I was really going for an antique or vintage book cover kind of look, and I feel like I achieved that here. There are certainly other support your local murder designs on Etsy and other websites, but I really wanted to create my own in a style that I prefer. Once I finished tracing the crow, I created the rest of the design, adding the extra crows to the background, typography, and spooky tree border. I'm just sharing a glimpse of the overall design process, but this took a few hours to complete. I also reflected my design before printing and tracing it onto my laminate block. This is such an important step because my block would have printed backwards if I had forgotten to reflect my image. Next, I transferred my illustration onto my laminate block by using a copy of the design from my home printer and a sheet of graphite paper. I cut my copy and graphite paper to fit the block perfectly and taped them with masking tape to keep them from moving during the transfer process. Using a ballpoint pen with green ink so I could see where I'd already traced, I transferred my design. Cutting laminate was so much easier than cutting a wood block, but it still had its difficulties. I managed to cut this block in about 6 to 8 hours, so I was able to cut it within a day, though I did need to take breaks because my hands began to hurt from all the carving. This was a Speedball brand of laminate block, and the texture is rather stiff. It isn't like cutting rubber, which for some reason that's what I was expecting. I purchased a small block cutting kit, and it came with a couple of small blocks that are definitely more rubber than laminate, so I was a little surprised at the difference when this block came in the mail. I went almost the entire project without hurting myself, but for some reason at the end I ended up jabbing myself twice by accident, probably because I was tired. Doing the lines between the feathers and also making even lines around the font was the most difficult part during the block cutting process. So here's the progress I've made with my linoleum block cut, and it's been going really well. I've just been removing basically anything that's in the white space, and it just takes a long time. I can feel a callus forming on one of my fingers from using this tool, but I think it's going to be worth it. It's coming along really nicely. I am a novice when it comes to block printing, so my first test print was a flop. The main reason being I don't have a press for block printing, and a good one is $200 or $300. I figured out really quickly that the block doesn't act like a rubber stamp, and you need a lot more pressure to get the image to transfer. I quite literally had to stand on the block to get the image to transfer properly. Once I figured that out, my prints turned out just fine. This afternoon, I did go to the store. I want to show you what I got. As I mentioned before, I got transfer paper. This is specifically for white or very light colored fabrics, so hopefully that will work really well. Normally I would thrift stuff like this, but I got a couple of velvet pumpkins because they're super cute. And I got frames for the block prints, but I don't like this faux wood that they put on the frames, so I bought acrylic paint to paint the frames a really cool color. Ooh. Looks so good. Okay, I went ahead and ironed the front of this size small t-shirt, and according to the instructions, I'm supposed to cut my design out and leave like 1/8 of an inch around the edge of the design. I'm nervous because I've already wasted 2 t-shirts. Oh, not waste. I'm gonna give them to my husband and he can use them for if he has yard work or something. I spent a lot of time designing this, and I also spent a lot of time making the ink block, which I don't have any regrets about the block cutting, even though I spent a lot of time on it. It looks really cool, and there's this extra depth to the block print that I really love that this one probably won't have just because it's computer printed, but that's fine. I need it to be legible, and if it doesn't look good on the front of a shirt, it's not worth trying to block print it onto there. They said print side down. Definitely eyeballing the whole thing. Yeah, don't forget to iron the front of your shirt before you put your design. My mother-in-law has a heat press that I think I might like to try using for this, but seeing as I really wanted to try this today, I am doing it the probably more complicated way with the iron. Actually, this isn't complicated, it's just a different technique. And I'm sure with the heat press, you get a much more even iron. Oh my gosh, this looks so good. I'm so excited to make more of these. Now that I know this works and that I can actually make these, I'm so happy. Because the print thing did not work so well the first time around. Actually, let me go get the t-shirt so you can see it. Here is the attempted ink print t-shirt. As you can see, it didn't turn out so great. But I'm glad that I was able to find a solution with the transfer paper because it just looks so good compared to like the block print. I'm also glad that I designed the whole thing in the computer so it could be used in multiple different capacities. Okay, so final thoughts on this project. I really loved the end result. I 100% want to try this again. I'm looking forward to trying it with the kind of rubber stamp textured blocks that I own and just see what the differences are between those and this kind of laminate block. I'm super pleased with the overall result of this particular endeavor with the little painted frame. I do wish I had gotten a larger frame. I saw the measurement and was like, oh, that's the measurement of my print, which was 8 by 10, when in reality I should have gotten something a little bigger so that there would be some free space around the print, but that's okay. I can get a new frame and do a new one in the future, and I might repurpose this one for some smaller prints. I'm also super pleased with the t-shirt design. Here is a picture of me wearing a size medium t-shirt, and I styled it with a black maxi skirt, a pair of boots, and a kind of wide belts. I just really like this look. I'm 100% gonna wear this outfit again. And the day that I wore this outfit, I went to a coffee shop and the barista complimented my shirt. So I was super happy about that. They said they really liked it. This video is technically sponsored by me and my small business, Watermelon Designs. I make whimsical handmade home decor, jewelry, and accessories. And at some point, these prints and t-shirts will be available on my Etsy shop. So if that is something you would be interested in checking out, I have left a link in the description below. Ending it here. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see others like it, please like the video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell button so you can be notified the next time I upload a video. Well, until the next one, I am out. Bye!